Welcome to another episode of Coffee on the Back Porch. Look at my mug today. Isn't that cute? This is one of the first sets of dishes I had back in the 80s, the 1980s. And it's just so precious, has a little heart on it. We're going to be talking about hearts later today. So I felt like that was pretty appropriate. Today's topic is bravery. Now, if you have followed Stars in Motion for any length of time, or if you've ever been to a class, then you probably think I'm going to be talking about how brave you have to be to hang from the ceiling and pull yourself up with your own strength, or how brave you have to be to try some of the things that we do around the studio. Maybe even just how brave you have to be to show up for a class. Those are all true. But what I really want to talk about today is how brave you have to be true to yourself. Mm, that is so hard, isn't it? Why? Why is that so hard? But it is. It's a true act of bravery to trust our own instinct. We're not used to doing that. We're used to doing what others tell us to do, or what for decades we've been conditioned to believe we ought to do, instead of diving into who we really are and listening to our own instinct, our own feelings, our gut. And I don't care who you are. Everybody who's ever walked in this earth has had a bad feeling about something or someone and brushed it off. We've all done it. And it's quite likely that we've heard someone else express their bad feeling and helped or encouraged them to brush it off. It's just kind of who we are. We avoid conflict. It's like, it's fine. They probably didn't mean anything by it. And that's true. They probably didn't. Most people are not out to be evil or mean or bad. However, it's so important for us to use our voice for ourselves and to use our voice for others when they're not ready or not able to find their own. That is important. And in the world that I work in, the industry that I work in, yoga, dance, aerial arts, fitness, we're working closely with other people. Even as a younger person, when I first started in this field, I worked at camps. I taught at dance camps. And gosh, this was in the early 80s, even before I had that mug. So 84, 85. And even then, I was lucky enough to be in an organization that put humans first. And I was taught that we don't say certain language, that we use phrases that were, in that time, we didn't even really talk about the phrase trauma informed or trauma sensitive, but these phrases that we were taught to use and the ones that we were told not to use um, have come to light in the recent culture that this is the way we ought to be speaking. So I'm really proud to have come from that learning. We were also taught about safe touch. Now, the word consent wasn't really used then. That's kind of a newer thing, but we were taught that if we needed to instruct from a physical standpoint, that we would really more come close to a person and use hand language or body language more so than physical touch. And even in my teaching today, all through my teaching, I kept that with me. And in current and most recent trainings that I've been in, there's been a lot more conversation about how we approach people, and that we always ask, is it okay if I touch you? Is it okay if I touch your leg? Is it okay if I hold you in this position to help you feel safe? Now, sometimes In an emergency situation, I may have to come in and hold you, especially if you're moving toward the ground. But I hope that you do hear me say that. Is it okay if I touch? But we can also guide by just saying, um, bringing your shoulder. So I'm not really touching you, I'm just beside you, showing you the direction of where your shoulder should go. So that's me from a teacher to a student. Let's look at what it looks like as a student in a class that's a fitness class, movement class, or even if you're a student in any other way. The teacher, instructor, leader ought not bring their body to you, whether it's their hands, arms, face, in any way that didn't already say, is it okay if I touch you? Is it okay if I put my hand on your shoulder? Is it okay if I hug you? I see that you're feeling sad, or I sense that emotionally you may need a hug, and my instinct is to come to you right away. But instead, I should ask you, is it okay if I hug you? Is it okay if my hand is on you? And if that's not happening, then we have the right and the responsibility to use our voice and say, I don't want to be hugged. I don't want you to sit close to me. I don't want you to touch me. And when I do ask you, is it okay? I am waiting to hear your response. And if your response is no, it doesn't hurt my feelings. It shouldn't hurt your leader's feelings. And here's the hard one. This is where it's going to be really brave. What if I show you that it does hurt my feelings? Or what if I get mad? Or what if I say, whatever? Or show in some way that I'm irritated or annoyed by your response? Guess what? It doesn't matter. What matters is your feelings. That's the truth. If you hurt someone's feelings because you don't want to be hugged, then that's kind of sad. And I'm sorry that someone's feelings got hurt. But what's most important is that you stood up for yourself and that you spoke out. But do you know what? Sometimes, even when you speak out, even when you show with your body language, scooting away, walking away, and even sometimes when you speak your boundary, you speak out about how you're feeling, then the leader, the teacher, the responsible person might not even hear you, might not even understand what you're saying. I don't want to say that they don't care, because that may not be true. Sometimes it is. Then we may have to use our voice or even our body language in front of someone else. We might have to speak privately to someone else, a friend or a family member. And even then, if that leader, if that teacher of the fitness class, of the school class, of any setting that we're in, whether it's someone who's older than us, younger than us, our peer, we might have to go to an authority, maybe to someone who's in a manager position, maybe someone who's in another role of leadership in the same organization, maybe someone in a different organization. And in the comments of this video, I'm also going to leave some phone numbers and websites of people and places that you can call and reach out to if no one's listening. Maybe the words you're saying are too gentle for other people to really understand the situation that you're feeling. And there's one phone number that if you can't remember anything else, You can call 911. You really can. And you may feel like, oh, but that's for people who are in a real emergency. Your emergency is also real. If no one's listening, or you feel like they're not listening, or maybe it's a situation that's just too scary to reach out to someone you know, maybe you're feeling embarrassed by what's happening to you. Maybe you feel like it's too small and someone's going to make fun of you for that. You can call the police and they might say, this is not an emergency that we're going to send out an ambulance, but we are going to connect you to the right people who can help you. We're going to connect you to the people who are going to listen to you. And listen to this one, y'all. We're going to connect you to the people who are going to believe you. That's right. There are people who will believe you. The bravest thing you may ever do is reach out. You spoke up, you used body language, you used your real words, and nothing really helped. It might be time to reach out to someone who's going to believe you. If you live in DeSoto County, Tate County in Mississippi, that's where I'm speaking from, you can reach out to the police, of course, but maybe you think to yourself, I want to reach out to someone else first. Maybe you feel like that's too much. You can reach out to Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center. And I know it says child, but even if you reach out to them and you're a grown-up person, or you're almost a grown-up person, or you're barely just a grown-up person, they're going to help connect you. They're not going to they're not going to say, oh, you're not a child, I don't want to talk to you. And they're located in DeSoto County, but they serve a greater region. I'm going to put their phone number in the comments, but I'm going to read it to you now also. The phone number for Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center is, I think I said that name wrong, but let's try it again. Healing Hearts Child Advocacy Center is 662-349-1111. I'm going to say that again. 662-349-1111. And if you are in a situation where you're being treated wrongly, and this is by a family member, a spouse, um, a caregiver, or someone who you are in whatever way living with, then you can reach out to House of Grace. The phone number for House of Grace is 662-342-1432. I'm going to read that one again. 662-342-1432. I'll also leave their websites so that if you know someone who you believe may be in harm, you can reach out to them as well, and they will guide you. And one more thing that let's talk about, that if you are in an industry where you work with other humans in a leadership role, whether that's as a yoga teacher, I'm leading that class, as a dance teacher, all these years I've been teaching dance, I have understood my responsibility to be an advocate for those people in my classes, for those people in my circle. And I attended classes at Healing Hearts, and they helped me to understand that responsibility to not only be an advocate and not just a responsibility, but that by law, I am mandated. That means I am not only trusted with this responsibility, I am required to report suspected abuse. And that suspected is a broad space. That when I report it, I am required to be part of the follow up, and that I have to be, I am an eyewitness at that point to the abuse, and I am responsible for reporting what I see and believe, whether or not I know it to be absolute truth. If I suspect that there's abuse, I am required to report it. I'm using the word I. If you are in a role like mine, where you work with children or adults, that might be as a teacher of in a school setting, teacher for education in some form, a leader of a scout troop, a teacher in music lessons, dance lessons, yoga, fitness, personal trainer, in any fashion. And also, what about just as responsible humans? If we see something, we should say something. Our silence can be painful, harmful for the rest of someone's life. We do want to be careful and make solid, good judgment observations, but we can't be silent. We must seek the truth and speak the truth. And that is hard, and that is brave. That is true bravery.